So we did a podcast with Mr. Phill West the other day. Phil's a really cool dude, guitar teacher, traveling digital nomad. How about that? This is the new wave of music lessons right here. And so I just want to put a couple of plugs in. Check out our podcast. Our podcast is awesome. We explore a whole range of musical topics. Really cool stuff. Love chatting with musicians. So this is all going to be included in the chat below. Ultimate Inspiration Guitar Lessons. That's his YouTube channel. His business is called Calgary's Best Guitar Lessons. Take a lesson with Phill. Phil's the man. Good guy. Great teacher. And then he's got an Etsy store with, in his words, the world's coolest guitar style art. It's guitar style art at guitarstyleart.etsy.com. So go check it all out and get ready for a podcast. Stick around. See ya. All right, recording in progress. Mr. Phill West. We have Phill West here on the
All right.
this podcast. How you doing, man?
Work in progress. Yeah. All good, man. Down here in Argentina and can't complain.
Dude, that's kind of awesome, man. So let me do a little introduction. Phill West is from Calgary. First of all, I want to introduce this project. I don't have a name for this project. And we're just kind of doing this ad hoc, and I have no idea where this is gonna go. I don't have big neon lights behind me. My name is not Joe Rogan. I'm not interviewing presidential. Well, much better than that. I'm interviewing
The fancy studio setup.
anyway. Dude, listen, man. I got my picture of like Shea Stadium in the background because I'm from Queens. You know, I'm a Mets fan. Over here, I got this little Jaguar I picked up a couple of years ago. I got a little trumpet and a couple of guitars, and of course my New York Knicks teddy bear. So got my bass.
Hey, that's all you need. Yeah. I've got a little room in a hostel with which is I'm pretty happy with. But yeah,
So that's the deal, man. But
very
you
cool.
got it. Mr. Phill West over here. You got a little bit of a fascinating story. You're from Calgary, right?
I suppose. Yeah, from Western Canada, exactly. In the cold, 6 months of snow every year. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, hey, listen, man. It probably
totally.
explains why you're down in Argentina. Probably explains why you're down in
Yeah, I was
Argentina.
just
But you're
change of scenery.
oh, we freezing up here. It's not too great. No, we lost you. Uh-oh, did we cut out there?
Oh no,
All right. Anyways,
it
well,
froze
hey,
up for a second, but
listen,
that'll happen every once in a while.
listen.
Yeah.
Technical difficulties. The first 2 minutes of this
I guess
thing.
considering I'm halfway across the planet, yeah.
Yeah, listen.
Yeah, no worries. So,
Yeah. Tell me more. I'm shocked about how this stuff works anyway. But yeah, tell me more, man. So you're from Western Canada, and then what's up after that?
yeah, so essentially, I've been teaching guitar pretty much my whole life, and when things went weird out in the world with COVID and all that silliness and so on, I went online. You know, all my students moved with me. Everyone was happy to do it. And ever since, it's been hard to go back. And then I decided I might as well start traveling and exploring a little bit. You know, stuff was getting crazy at home with like rental prices and whatever other crazy stuff. And yeah, I figured I'd give it a shot, just like you did. So pretty exciting.
So tell me how it's gone. How's it gone with the Now, I mean, you're what? You digital nomadic, teaching guitars, you travel, or how's that going?
That's where I'm at right now. Yeah, I'm about 3.5 months in, and just exploring, figuring things out as I go. You know, with logistics and making stuff work and travel these days, and you know the 2020s, whatever you want to call it. Because I did lots of traveling, like 20 years ago in Europe, backpacking and the usual stuff that people do. But now, yeah, I'm new part of life, just seeing what happens. And I don't think there's very many people like us who are music teachers who have decided to digital nomad and to travel and stuff like that. If there are, it's really hard to find them on the internet. So maybe this podcast will be really good for that too, because like I searched through like dozens of pages for like digital nomad music teachers, and there was almost nothing out there. There was like a couple shows of like a couple episodes of one podcast from Australia or something,
Hmm.
and that's all I got.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like forging some new thing, and eventually it'll be amazing if we can get some more people in on it, and maybe this will really help with that too.
Yeah. Hey man, I'm here to have a good time and enjoy myself, and we'll see where this all
Exactly.
goes. But I mean, that's fascinating. Listen, I've done a little bit of traveling too, through Argentina and other places. But it's fun, man, dude. It's so much fun. I think it kind of enhances us in a way, sort of as music teachers, right? I would imagine as people, I would hope. And if
Of
not, then we're
course, right?
then we're, then
Travel
we're
is the
doing
best
something
school there
wrong. I'll
is.
tell you that. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
travel is
yeah.
amazing. And there's, doesn't seem to be many people doing this yet, but it's never been easier to get out there and travel. Like logistically, you can sit there on your phone and you can like book your whole trip and know where you are. It's insane what we can do these days.
Yeah, dude, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, I just got back too, from 8.5 months traveling to South America. Also, dude, but it's
Was
fun.
it that long?
It was a while, man.
Amazing.
Dude, it was fun, man. Did Colombia, Ecuador, did Galapagos, did a few places, man. Dude, it was fun. I had a good time with it. For me, at the end of the day, right, I think is, for the sake of the musical podcast, I mean, also, you discover like things about like how you do it, but I mean, dude, it was fun, man. You kind of discovered things about like how you. I don't even know what you discovered, bro. I think it's just being totally freaking lazy to like live in New York. And you just got to get out of Dodge for a little bit, and then you come back and you're like, all right, you're back home. But listen, home is beautiful too. I love being at home, man. Home is awesome, man.
That's another reason why travel is awesome too, because it makes you appreciate your home just way more than you did before. So
Yeah. No, no, it's true. Listen,
there's just so much about it. Yeah.
you appreciate your place in the world. I think that's what you really got to take away from this, in my opinion. Do like you got to appreciate like where you are in the world, man, because there's a lot of people
Exactly.
who don't really have the best shot at life, but you realize there's a lot of people that they love their families, they love what they do, they love music, and that for me that's a really interesting thing. And there's so many different styles and cultures and God, I mean, you just discovered Bandoneon in Buenos Aires is tango, or you just see a metal show in Brazil, and you're like, dude, like, for me, right, what blew my mind was uh, you go to like a Brazilian metal show. I mean, God, you see like the best metal bands in the States, and I'm not knocking anything because, dude, I got back to the States and I had better fruits in New York than I did anywhere in South America, I guess. I don't know. For me, what was incredible, you go to Brazil and you see this metal show, and like in the States, you have these bands and they play faster and harder and this and that. You got a good mosh pit, you can get 10, 20 people. In Brazil, the whole arena turns into a mosh pit. Literally, there's nowhere you go in that crowd, a full sold out crowd. Not even so, I mean, it's a free concert. Yeah, come on.
Everybody.
Everybody, men, children, women, it's incredible. Everybody just moshes. And it's happy moshing.
There's
It's like a
something about the life down here and the excitement, about everything. Yeah, very cool.
Kid, Kid Rock said, get in the pit and try to love someone. And you know what? That's exactly the vibe that I felt that I got.
Nice.
That's what it was. And I felt it,
That's
man.
exactly it. Yeah.
And everybody's sweating, and we all come away dirty, and you're like the person you're like, damn, I want that shower like crazy. But you know what? It was amazing. It was
Oh,
it
it's a
was
mess. Yeah.
oh, dude. But the atmosphere, the vibe, it was just it was too much, man. It was great. But you get to experience that sort of thing, or Carnival, the Fravos. I mean, dude, it's phenomenal. The travel.
Yeah. Tell me about Carnival.
What's that?
Oh, I've got like 30 times what the minimum amount of internet connection should be here. Like it's really fast most of the time, and it still
Yeah.
cuts out.
No, it could be on my end. I'm using my data plan in New York. I'm using my Verizon data in New York.
Uh, I was on a call an hour ago and it was doing the same thing. So it's probably me.
Okay.
But yeah, I do speed tests like every day and it's super fast most of the time.
Mm.
And then it's not all of a sudden and then it cuts out and that's pretty much the only drawback, the only downside to this whole traveling music teacher thing is the occasional internet blip.
I haven't really had much of an issue with that. I had that for 1 week in December. It was funny because it was like 40 degrees outside, and I was teaching in my jacket, and it was getting dark, and I didn't have the lighting. I got through it, but it was like the one time I really had an issue with it. But yeah, it does happen. You definitely get that. But for the most part, it's great. Lessons in the home. My favorite thing is no shoes in the house. That's the best part. My house, their house, no shoes, no shoes. It's great. You don't have to worry about
Oh
like, am I gonna
yeah,
take my shoes off or not?
I never
That's
even
a,
think
that's a,
about that. Is that a thing? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. People are like, listen.
Like I always take
Kid-
my shoes off, yeah.
I always say, listen. Some houses you like keep your shoes on. I'm like, not in my house, man.
Yeah,
uh,
exactly. I don't want to mop the floor 4 times a day.
no, I get it, man. You
So
asking me about Carnival, right? How it originated, and more of the
yeah,
history.
yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Carnival, man. So I'll tell you, for Carnival was an experience, man. It was, and maybe when I edit this video, maybe I'll put some stuff with the clips with the clips from Carnival. Dude, Carnival is a trip, man. I mean, I've never been to spring break, but I would imagine this is like spring break times a million. See, up in Olinda, you have this like crazy small village. It's an old village. I mean, these buildings dating back in the small buildings too, like 2 stories max, three tops, and they're dating back to the turn of the 20th century, maybe late 19th. And you've got literally, they call it the world's largest carnival, and you have like literally like 2, 3 million people in the streets. They have literal stampedes, literally. Like if you lose your balance, you could fall, and it's crazy there. But it's so much fun because you've got the bands, and they just play the brass music. They call them the Fravos, and they just play the brass music, and they're like and they have the best bands. They got great artists too.
Yeah,
They
what
got
was the music like?
dude, all bro. It's like all like this brass music. People just dancing and screaming, and it's
Interesting.
drinking, and it's oh, dude. And the costumes are incredible, man. Like you talking.
Yeah, I
Uh,
can't even imagine.
dude, oh my god! I mean, everybody's dressed. It's like everybody's wearing glitter, and it's phenomenal, man. Everybody's dancing with each other, and oh my god, man, dude, it's phenomenal, dude. The vibe, and it just goes on day and night. And you just have to go home and just decompress and just chill in your room for a little bit, and then come out like 5 hours later and just go party. Yeah. But you got this music, man, the whole time. And then, like in the evenings, you get these shows like the guys like uh, this Brazilian icon. I don't know if he's like maybe like the Bob Dylan of Brazil or whatever, but like the little guys, I guess Simon and Garfunkel. But this guy, I'll say about Lenza, and he comes in and he's got this folk music, and dude, like the crowd, they know every single one of his lyrics, so like pretty much all of his songs.
That's
And
like down here in Argentina, yeah, there's like these heroes. Like musicians still have that epic status that they did, like back in, I don't know, like the 50s and 60s and 70s. Like, so just ranting about Carnival. And yeah, I'm curious about the music exactly.
you were talking about like how we have icons, how this, they treat their musicians. Not just we come in and you see like our bands and they're like, yeah, but it's like their musicians. They know their musicians like the back of their hand. It's great, man. It's like when you talk about
It's
the
like there's still
icons from the
heroes down here.
50s, 60s, and 70s, then it cut out. So yeah. So what we saying after that? That they treated them like
Oh, that was most of it. Like,
yeah,
yeah, it's like there's still like these heroes, and like 500,000 people will just be singing and dancing and jumping along, and like it's. I haven't been to any of these crazy concerts on yet in person, but yeah, just the enthusiasm is just a whole nother thing, you know.
yeah, man.
It's amazing. That's down here, but I'm sure other places in the world are like that too.
Yeah, but I mean, you go to shows in the States and it's cool and this and that. I mean, maybe I haven't been to a Taylor Swift show yet, I guess, but and who knows if
Oh
I'll go.
God.
Well, but I'll say this, like, but listen, the way they treat their people down there is phenomenal, especially their heroes. It's like they know every word and they live
Hmm.
it, man. It's just it's communal. It's just gorgeous, bro. It's really it's phenomenal. That's it. And so you've been able to connect with like different musicians down there in Argentina. How's that going?
A little bit, yeah. I've been kind of doing my own thing a lot, but I've found, jammed with a few people, made some cool friends, had some, some connections and stuff like that. Um, yeah, and it's only really just getting started. A lot of times the good thing to do is just to go to like a local music store or find a Facebook group and just look for gigs and people to jam with and so on. And
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you find that you're connecting with people, and what do they bring it to the table musically? What are they
um,
what are they bringing? What do they have? What's interesting in the parlance?
Interesting question. I think that really depends on who you meet. Like a lot of people are going to be like kind of like singer songwriter, like strumming the acoustic guitar with all like again those famous songs that every single person in the country knows the words to. So all of a sudden everybody starts singing them along. That's something that that I of course don't recognize at all. So there's that kind of thing. When I got to the hostel here in Argentina that I was at, the second I walked in, there were these guys like playing guitar and then singing these amazing, crazy vocal harmonies just sitting in the lobby.
Mm,
It turns out that they were here from another part of the country to audition
mm.
for like the America's Got Talent kind of thing. Like it's like that thing, but in Argentina, like the voice of Argentina. I think they call it something like that. And yeah, they were like 20-year-old kids more or less, and amazing. Like they're just strumming away basic stuff on the guitar to accompany, but they had these vocal harmonies that like were just mind blowing. So random stuff like that. A
Yeah.
Canadian friend from Argentina connected me with his buddy in Buenos Aires, who's like one of the greatest jazz guitarists like you'll ever see. So we hung out a bunch and we jammed, and I hopped on one of their gigs for a couple of songs and played some old like gypsy jazz tunes and stuff, and it was super fun.
No, it's so much fun, man. You meet so many different people, and they kind of like uh, show you different directions of where to go. And you're just like, man, like,
Totally random.
yeah, and you're just like, bro, like, can I bring this back to Calgary with me? Can I bring it back to New York? And I really kind of get that vibe too, like, what's there? What's gonna happen? I connected with a dude in Recife from Rio, and I'm already. I said, listen, I want to spend 2 months in Rio, just like learning the nuances. And 2 months in Rio is not enough. When I was in college,
Did you
um,
spend 2 months in Rio?
no, no, well, no, 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 no. No, I'm saying like in Rio, I was in Rio for a week a couple of years ago, but I spent but I want to come back like next year and spend a couple of months just like playing with people. That's where I'm at with this.
Keep me posted because I'd love to end up in Brazil, like learning guitar and just kind of diving in there. So yeah, yeah, very cool.
Dude, there's so much to offer, man, especially Brazilian music. I was in college, and I remember um, they had I obviously we studied our jazz and classical and all that, or whatever, all the Western stuff. But they had two courses that they offered in college that were outside of like Europe and North America, and that was Indian music, which is probably the most sophisticated system in the whole world, in my opinion, as far as I've seen.
Insane, yes,
Oh my
amazing.
goodness! Oh my God, with all the rogs and tals
They have over
and
10,000 scales.
yeah, yeah. What do we have? What do we have in the West? About 50? You
Yeah,
know, between
there's a couple skeletons, and we make modes out of them. But yeah, there's it's amazing. And then going back thousands of years, like just that's the best thing about traveling. That's why I'm traveling is to explore music and just see what I can discover.
yeah, man. And dude, they've had so much time. I mean, dude, what have we had in the West for our music? I mean, think about it, 300 years, maybe 250 years. If you think about our tradition in India, I mean, first of all, India has all those regions, right? You talk about like 22 states, I think they have 22 official languages, something like that. And then within
Yeah, we
each
say
state,
India, but yeah, that's totally. It's like 22 different countries.
oh yeah, and you talk about Carnatic music versus the Hindustani culture. It's crazy. So that was one culture that we had in 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 um in college when I went. The other one that we had in college was Brazilian music, and I never got into that. And we had Brazilian music in college, and I never got into that. I did a year of Indian music, which of course I didn't learn how to play anything. I just kind of learned it. It was more like about you did learn the tals, and you learn the basic ones, like tintal, and I think it's a japtal or whatever. You learn a lot of different tals, and we had this wonderful tabla teacher, and we used to go to concerts, and it was great, man. But then there's Brazilian music, and you have such variety. And when I got there, I was just like, dude, like we know nothing about this. And of course, they started mixing it, and then you had in the 50s and 60s, of course, with Tom Jobim and
Hmm.
everything like that, you had the mix of like, Brazilian music, uh, American jazz music, the Brazilians wanted to learn about American jazz, and of course, America tried to put their spin on the bossa nova, of course, but nothing at all. I mean, maybe there's some guys in the States that I'm not aware, but you have like all this complexity with the syncopations and coming in before the beat. And this it's incredible stuff with the Brazilian music. So I mean, there's it's such a world with instrumentation. When I was listening to what's his face, I'll say Valenza. I mean, and he had this African mysticism in there, and all the costumes on the stage.
Oh
I mean,
wow, yeah,
it was
it's like a
oh my
dream come true.
listen, man. Even the lights. I mean, they lit up. You had the center square. And you ever see those old concerts from like Eastern Europe? And you have all the buildings that are lit up, and it's this open forum, and you have the crowd.
Hmm.
I mean, it was like that with like the greens and blues and oranges and yellows all over. Oh my goodness, and the reds. Oh my God, it was incredible. The whole stage is so lit up. It was phenomenal, man. It was amazing.
Very cool. Yeah, what an adventure. Like, yeah, Carnival anywhere can be cool, but to go to like one of the like original places, that's yeah, mind blowing. What an
Nobody
adventure.
had their phone. I didn't see anybody with their phone. I was the only American just like filming. I was they're like nobody. Everybody's just like listening to the music. It was
Yeah,
incredible.
just living it, right?
It was amazing. So there's so much to discover, and just you never know where where you're gonna go. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. So, but tell me, I want to know more about your digital nomading. So you mentioned before you got into it with the uh, with COVID, and you're like, oh, well, why? Well, why did you continue with it? What was the value for it?
Uh,
I
Good
got my own.
question. Well,
Trust me, I'm
essentially, like,
biased too, but I'm keeping my bias over here. You know.
oh yeah, no worries. No, with me, like the city where I'm in, there's about 1.5 million people or so, but it's huge. Like geographically, it's a huge city, massive, like land area, for example. And so logistically, like all of a sudden, I'm pressing a button and I've got students all over the city. Like before, what I had to do, I had like one day when I would be like in one little corner of the city, like the northwest of the city. I had a couple days where I would have students in my home. I had one day where I'd go, to like the other corner of the city, and there was still a giant piece of the city where I just had to turn people away. Like I just had to say, no, I can't teach you. Unless you come to me, which would be a really long drive. There's just, there's no way. So logistically, all of a sudden, it just made things so much easier, and that's not even including the option to teach people all over the world. So yeah, it was really hard to go back. All of a sudden, everything was kind of condensed and efficient, and I had my students mixed up instead of trying to plan different areas. And it made things way simpler, and it's wonderful for the students too. The parents don't have to drive around, they can focus on something else. The kids can set up like their little music zone in their house. They don't always do that, right? Sometimes they're like in the living room with like their brothers and sisters running around and throwing things at them and like distractions. And it's amazing what like parents will let their kids kind of do as far as like lesson zones. But the opportunity is there to make things really easy and convenient. They can record things, right? Like we're doing now. You can send them PDFs to print out. Like online lessons are awesome. They work really, really well. And people, some people don't like them, of course, especially now that they don't have to take them with COVID and all that craziness.
Yeah.
But for people that like them and that appreciate the convenience, they're freaking awesome.
I'll put the plug in for my own company for Viano. At least,
exactly.
At least. Oh, listen, I don't want to plug it, but I just go ahead and just say, with the screen sharing that we have here, I feel like we've completely replicated the online, the in-person model, and it's as effective because everything is laid out right there. So that's just my little plug on that.
Yeah, very cool. Exactly. Yeah, there's so many benefits to it.
Yeah, no, and listen, and the kids, I think it's great. I think it's so much fun. You connected with people all over the world doing that, I would imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you never know where you're going to get a student, especially with the rise of YouTube channels and things like that as well. And yeah, it slowly spreads out. You start in your hometown, and then it slowly spreads out, or you never know where someone's going to pop up because they like your style or they connect with you.
Oh yeah, and that's
Yeah.
always that's the key. You connect with them, they connect with you. I just found I think the online lessons are amazing. You just you're reaching out to people. Listen, like I got students, for example, in like Louisiana and Iowa, and very very talented people. I mean, and maybe they connect with somebody down there, and maybe they don't. But boom, for me, it's a really big equalizer.
Yeah, you got people all over the states, don't you?
I got a kid, yeah, all over the states, man. Yeah, for sure. I got a kid
Amazing.
on
Yeah, I can't wait to
Marshall
kind of
Islands.
spread out and yeah, find people
Well,
from different parts of the world, and I love it.
well, this is what's next. I think I hope at least. But that's it. Listen, but this is everything that we're talking about right here. This is everything that we're talking about. We're talking about how we're connecting with other people. I always go back to the turn of the 20th century when people really started with the advent of the telegraph and railroads and cars, that sort of thing, especially the railroads, I imagine. And
Changed everything.
well, you go back to the turn. I mean, first of all, the spread of jazz, the spread of African music, gamelan from Indonesia, all that stuff. It found its way right into Europe, right into North America, all those spots. People started really taking from all those cultures. But I think this is that right now, but like at like quantum speed. Like,
Exactly. And you can take advantage of it, right? You can make it help with your process or help with your business, from both angles, from the teaching and from the learning. Definitely.
yeah, and this is what we're doing. But also, you connect. You have your feet on the ground in Argentina. I got my feet on the ground wherever, and you just meet people. You bring it back. People have been doing that for a long time, but the advent of Zoom is instantaneous. And the beauty, by the way, of these online lessons, first and foremost, is um, it's one on one. I mean, there's so much good material on YouTube. I love all the stuff that's out there. I recommend all the YouTube stuff to my students all the time. I got a guy yesterday. He's like, "Oh, I need help with 145." I'm like, "Listen, watch this guy on YouTube. Don't talk to me." But then we come into the lesson, and I show him exactly how to implement it. And I say, okay, well, he's got in his head. He's like, okay,
The
this is
personal touch, right?
well, it's a guidance, it's
Makes all
coaching,
the difference.
it's a coaching, right? You know,
Exactly.
you say, okay, and by the way, I got my camera. So, I mean, I'll even demonstrate right here with my computer, for example. I mean, this is I got my iPad over here. I got that set up. The iPad's pointed at my piano. But I set that up. I say, listen, um, so I'll go, all right, well, this is what you do. This is the one chord. So this is your C. That's it. And he finds it. And then we go to the G chord and so on. And that's how you do it, man. So we're and he works at me. It's like, oh, I don't get it. Okay, well, move your hand right, boom, boom, and it all works the same way as it does. It's crazy.
Yeah, and
And
that
this is what
personal
we're
touch that you'll never get when you're watching a video, right? The pace, right? Following whatever pace the student's at. Having having a coach, someone to help you and be patient and and adjust the way they're explaining things. Like that's priceless.
now imagine, right? You're connecting with. Oh my God, I'm turning this into a whole telemarketing session. I didn't want. I didn't want to
Totally,
go
but
down.
it's
I did.
clearly we're excited about our jobs, right?
Yeah,
So
that's fair. That's fair.
yeah.
That's fair. No, but think about it, right? You go to Argentina, you pick up a whole bunch of different music, or at least a vibe or something to bring back, and then you bring it back and you put it into your lesson, or somebody connects with like a samba teacher, and then they say, okay, here's a jin 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 jin, and they write it out for you, and you see it, and they're like, okay, well, listen, Johnny, here's a jin 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 jin, and they do it, and it's freaking magic, man. It's amazing, dude. It's so good. It's so good. I
Yeah,
love
no,
it,
and
man.
music is the most universal language there is in the planet, pretty much. Like, yeah, so no matter where you go, you can discover something new. Like I bug all my students to explore just music online. I don't know if any of them actually do it, but yeah, but I like every class I'm like, go explore, find a new band, like just hop on YouTube and discover something new. And yeah, it's
Always.
amazing what we can do.
Yeah, listen, I spoon feed stuff to my kids all the time and my students. It's great, man. Dude, it's amazing. There's always something to discover. You're breeding the love in that, but but I feel like there's such a connectivity right now. It's just, we've never had that before, and this is what we're doing now to sort of take advantage of this whole thing. I mean, it's amazing, and I just hope that this is going to be an equalizer. Same with the AI stuff, man. Listen, you ever plug anything into ChatGPT or any one of those LLMs, language learning models, and you're like, "Oh, tell me about this style." Okay, well, I'm going to go on YouTube and discover this. And, I mean, we're really living through this amazing time right now, in my opinion, in terms of
Yeah, I think
exploration of what we're doing.
it's options, right? The idea of being able to discover anything. Now, a lot of people are going to use that to waste away watching dumb people doing dumb shit on the internet. Oh, there's some
Right.
swears for you. But yeah, like you can spend all day long like discovering or watching ridiculous like kind of silly stuff and wasting your
Yeah.
life away. But for people who take advantage of it, right? For people who there's it's never been easier to find anything and learn anything and take your life in whatever direction you kind of you're inspired to take it to. That's what that's where we're at, and whether people do it or not is entirely their choice. But it's shocking what people can do these days.
But listen, man, dude, and that's the thing. We've been doing this as we, oh my God, I'm having flashbacks to 5 years ago in person. Maybe you pull up a YouTube channel. I mean, listen, you've been a teacher for a long time, right? For like 20 years or something.
Yeah, like 20, 26, 27.
Oh, yeah, longer than I've been teaching for 21. Uh, you remember? Do you remember? Oh my goodness! Oh my God! So it's like since 1999 or whatever. It's longer than that, right? I started in 2003, so yeah, it's been a while. But you remember back in the old days where you just go to the house and you just like use a little book or something like that, or like, oh my God, we didn't have YouTube back then. We used to go buy for us in New York. It was like go buy this tape from Sam Goody.
Yeah, you had to buy the book, or like if you wanted backing tracks, you had to like order this CD from some
Oh.
dude, like halfway across the planet that might arrive or might not. And then you'd have like five backing tracks to play along to. And like people still loved it. Like in the 70s, there was nothing. Like there weren't books, there weren't tab, there was like nothing. And people were like holding their guitars backwards and doing like just figuring things out themselves. And it was amazing, like as far as the fact that people that wanted to do it still did it. But now it's just so much easier for anybody to dive in, in any capacity.
It was crazy. We had the catalogs. You remember the catalogs?
Yeah. Or like, like the few pages at the back of, like at the back of the guitar or the music magazines, where there were ads for those dudes, who were selling backing tracks or selling like a little course, like people like stuff like we're selling now, like they still existed back then, but like, yeah, they were like a couple lines in the back of a magazine somewhere, and like it's amazing. The
You want to
evolution.
smoke? You want to smoke in the water from Deep Purple? You just order code DP4937 or something like that and mail it to like Altoona, wherever, That's it.
Yeah, or you had to
You
buy
know,
the whole book. If there was a book, you had to buy the entire book of the album, to try and get that one song. Yeah,
I love those
totally.
like little scrolling piano tutorials. The ones that
I
uh,
think I've seen those.
I call it the piano karaoke. Basically, I don't know anybody who refers to
Yeah,
it like
yeah,
that,
it's
but
like a scrolling guitar tab kind of thing, but for piano. Yeah,
it's like kind of like, yeah, kind of. So listen, that came from Guitar Hero. No, that's got to be the origin of that.
it's possible. I'm not sure, but yeah, these days, again, there's so many learning tools and like things made into video games and like all sorts of things that can grade you and tell you made a mistake. Like you have a 97% accuracy level, and like
Do you remember Parappa the Rapper?
I remember the name. I don't remember much about it, but I totally remember the name.
That was an old game. Oh, goodness, it must have been from like 1999 for the old PlayStation. And then he had to click these buttons, and he had this guy, the rapper, and he's like, little doggy, whatever he was, and he's like, "Hey kids, my name is Parappa, I'm the rapper, whatever, what it is." You have to click like,
So it was an
now
early like musical coordination game.
that's what it was. Yeah, yeah, like square, circle, circle, square. It was great, man. Now, yeah,
Yeah,
and obviously now we've evolved it. Listen, we had those origins for a long time. I mean, it all goes back to karaoke, I think, anyway. Like everything else, it goes back to the voice. That's how it is.
totally.
Everything goes back
Very
to the
cool.
voice. So that's the deal, man. Listen, we're doing something kind of awesome here. We're really going a long way. We're really, all of us, we're all creating something amazing. But I think it's this whole interconnectivity that's just really connecting us. I think it's just phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And just like music, and I can't stop ranting about how awesome music is in general. But just the idea that, well, again, all over the planet, there's music teachers, and right now I think it's a time when we can connect with, maybe connect with other music teachers and again, share ideas, share things, or travel, whatever it happens to be. It's, like it's a really amazing profession because like you're helping people learn something that just brings them joy and brings
Yeah,
other people joy. It's like this weird like contagious joy. That's what music is. So it's yeah, it's really rewarding too, I think.
where are you going with all this? What's on
I don't
today's
know. I just
agenda?
I just I just get excited about it. Yeah, and this the idea of like building a community, like I like this idea of, like again, digital nomad music teachers, for example. Like imagine if a bunch of us met up in a certain place somewhere, and all of a sudden like we could hang out, we could jam, we could busk, we could put on concerts, or we could, do whatever in one place. And like few people that meet up in other professions, like they might talk shop, they might yap about some stuff, but they can't like go and impact people in the local, the local area. They can't like put on shows, and like it's such an opportunity, and there's got to be more people doing it. But yeah, I'm
I
excited
just
to. Sorry, I got to turn
Yeah,
off.
you could. I check mine. I think mine's off. I mean, That's I feel like there's such a like synthesis right now happening, and then of course, obviously, new ideas spawn from that. That's a whole thing. I mean, I think like what I'm thinking is like, where do we go? Like, what's our path as musicians? Like, where are we like 5 years, 10 years, based on everything that's happening? I mean, we're gonna live in such a different world. Think about
Yeah,
that, man.
everything's constantly changing, and these days, like unless you literally see someone playing it, you don't know if it's real. Like you must have
Oh,
seen like all those millions of albums on YouTube now that have a massive amount of views, like any kind of genre mashup you can think of, and it's all AI music. And a lot of people that listen to it don't even know that. But there's
yeah.
so much of it out there. So like I think the whole live music thing, live videos and everything live is going to grow in importance, whether it's in person or whether it's online, because it's the only way to prove that it's actually real people doing it. So I think it's exciting because people are gonna be sharing themselves more out there in
I'm gonna
person because they kind of have to.
I'm gonna ask you the age-old question. By the way, what do you think? What do you think? I'm gonna put you on the spot, I guess, a little bit. Age-old
Yeah.
question. Age-old question. Do you think? And I got my thoughts on this too. But my age-old question. Um, are you cool with AI music if it's done well?
Well, there's a complicated question because like I think it's cool just like AI art, like it's inspired, it's trained on real music. Like I think it's cool from an inspirational point of view. Like, like kind of like what you see on YouTube, like let's like pick two like totally random genres. Let's say, like I want to make hip hop music from I don't know, from Polynesia or whatever. And okay, like you can take like any combination of random things that you can't find in real life, and you can say, okay, what would this sound like?
Yeah,
From the standpoint, like as a musician, from the standpoint of like I'm gonna spend all day listening to music, then no, I want to listen to real people making real
yeah,
music. But from a creative standpoint, from getting this like inspirational idea of like what would this sound like done really well. You're like you can imagine it in your head. What if I mash these three things together? But in this case, yeah, it's like bringing imagination to life. Like art, if someone who can't even draw stick people, they can type something in. They can type an idea in, like something that they want to imagine, and they can have it like created and visualized. So from the standpoint of replacing real humans, of course that really sucks because in some ways it does that. But from
yeah,
a creative standpoint for people around the world, then you know, either way, it's there. You know, it's there. It's probably not going away anytime soon. So
yeah.
yeah.
No, I mean, well, I think it's incredible, man.
Oh, you,
I,
yeah.
oh, dude, I mean, listen, man. If somebody came to me and I don't know who created it, it was AI, and somebody said, "Here's some hip hop from Americans from Samoa or Fiji or Tuvalu or Vanuatu or Solomon Islands or Marshall." I'm just listing all the islands of the Pacific Ocean because I'm a
Geography
geography.
lesson.
I'm such a geography dork, dude.
Oh, nice. I love maps. Yes, stuff too. Totally.
Oh man, dude, I'm always on YouTube watching all that, all like the geography trivia stuff, and Sporkle, like always doing those quizzes and stuff.
Yeah, there used to be this Facebook game of like naming capitals and pointing maps and flags and things, and yeah, I would always kick that.
I love that. That's great. Yeah, that's probably what, you're on the road, I guess. It's awesome, man.
Travel, yeah.
Dude, how many people know what salsa is, right? So there you go. Uh, yeah, you're good at that. No, but that's the thing, man. It's like, no, listen, somebody came to me, they're like, listen, here's some hip hop from wherever in the world. And it's like, whoa, yeah. Hey, wait, for me, it just, yeah, first of all, and if a human put it together, yeah, maybe there's some sense of control. And maybe there's a combination, right? You have that. I love what you say about the inspiration. Look, there's some sense of control, right? Like you're controlling. You might get the idea, but then if you want to fine tune, you say, "This is what I want to do." Listen, I did this. I gave my brother's best man speech last year, and I had ChatGPT write it, and not that I had to write it. Okay, so this is
Ooh,
what I did.
busted.
No, I'm open about it. I don't care. I don't care, man. No, but I couldn't think of anything. I couldn't think of how I've never done a best man speech before. I wouldn't know, whatever, or a wedding speech. And I said, okay, write me a thing. And then I said, no, I want it like this. And we went back and forth until I kind of came up with it. And that's what I think what the inspiration is. Then on the other hand, my dad went and totally did his whole thing off the cuff, and everybody was like rolling on the floor laughing. I'm like, yeah, I'm never using ChatGPT and get to write everything. So I'm sure you can derive some good things from it, and maybe it's really good. I would listen to it, but would it be good? I mean, you've seen the art from Dali, right? The Dali's the ChatGPT software that writes pictures. So like, I mean,
Oh, I thought you meant Salvador Dali. No, yeah, I've
yeah,
seen lots of the AI art generators. Totally, yeah.
yeah, I'm sure that's where the name came from too. But yeah, yeah, of course, absolutely, yeah, yeah. Draw me a panda in a desert, yeah, with a lollipop or whatever you want to give it. I don't even know, whatever. But that's the deal, and you and it's like, whoa, it's like it's crazy stuff. It's like, but yeah, you're right. But when you fine tune and refine it, I saw something really cool. I saw an ad for this. I was out of I was out of the country. I couldn't go. I'd love to. They were doing this thing over at Carnegie Hall. Uh, there was some. They had an orchestra there, right? Which of course is a very beautiful, wonderful, and in my opinion, a little bit outdated mode of performance. What are you creating content for? 12 tones, the same group of instrument, right? Where, in my opinion, electronic music can capture a lot of different sonorities. Yeah, it's not acoustic, but you capture so many different sonorities, which is why I'm into it as a mode of creation, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I think so, at least, right? The same way that the rock band replaced the orchestra for a long time as a form of utilitarian use of instruments that have different sonic ranges than, say, typical orchestra. As beautiful as a violin is, as beautiful as a trumpet is, right? It's stuff that I grew up on and that I kind of sort of renounced in a sort of way. I
Modes of
guess.
expression, sure.
Right, but also it's utilitarianism, right? Accessibility, projection. You can project much more with a rock band than with an orchestra. I mean, yeah, you can mic an orchestra. Does it hold the same water in a concert venue? I don't know. Good question. You mix it and mic it, right? It's a good question. I mean, obviously you have combinations. But I saw this lady, there was an ad for her, and she used this, I guess it was an AI, it was super cool in my opinion. A lot of people were giving it for me it was super cool. The ideas, for me, the possibilities. That you had an orchestra that was doing its thing, and here she is in front of a computer waving her hand, and every time she waved her hand, it was a different sound that synced up with the orchestra live. I thought that was the
Oh,
coolest darn thing. It was the coolest damn thing I've seen, man. It was so cool. There is such,
interesting.
oh my gosh, man. And I'll combine that with all the stuff you've seen in Brazil or in India or whatever, and whoa, the floodgates open. Only speaks to me, man, of what we have inside that connects us all and that we just have not discovered yet.
Well, that's kind of the basis of it all, isn't it? The desire
Right.
for people to express themselves one way or another, and the tools we use to do it is, whatever is available. If it's sticks and stones, that's one thing. If it's, like crazy modern technology, it's another thing, but it's still just people trying to express something. So, yeah,
We're
it is what it is. Yeah.
I mean, and so for us, I like Michio Kaku. I was listening to his podcast, and there's a lot of people that talk about it. Guys like Brian Cox or whatever, and they talk about the type one, two, three, four, five, six civilizations. I think it's types. I
Hmm.
forget how many types are. You know the concept of that?
I believe so. Yeah, I don't know the details, but yeah, we're definitely like we're we're pretty
I
like
this,
we're
this
on the verge of something new, aren't we?
Well, this is the basis, and I have like zero understanding of this, whatever. But the idea, being a musician, I should probably know more about this. But right now we're in a Type Zero civilization where we don't even have a colony on the moon, and I think that there's one type of civilization that can travel between galaxies, and there's one type of civilization that can teleport, right?
Oh,
And,
okay, it goes way past. I thought we were kind of at the top of the ladder right now, but yeah, sure. Of
right.
course, you can always imagine a bigger ladder.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm such a fan of like if you imagine the whole thing, you can go wherever, anywhere, anything our
Sci-fi
brains
stuff.
can. Yeah, man,
Yeah.
dude. I mean, anything our brains can imagine, it probably either exists or can exist, and that sort of thing. But that's the thing right now. So the whole, I always, I'm a believer anyway that culture contributes to a broader expression of what we can do scientifically or mathematically or in any other form. You know, it's just really a way of communicating, and the fact that you're sitting in Argentina and I'm in New York, for example, that's a way that we're
This is
communicating in a way,
crazy. Yeah.
right, that we have not communicated. But take that 5, 10 years from now, and we're going to be in a place where uh, this is going to be outdated. I mean, listen, you remember Napster? The Napster was the way of the world 20 years ago.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And right now, God, you put me on after I throw my Mac out the window.
Yeah, the amount of change that people of our age, have even just seen, like,
Yeah,
we're pretty much like the last couple years of people that remember life before computers,
yeah.
you
I
know?
mean, yeah.
Like
I
back in
mean,
the 80s, yeah, like I was probably 6 or 7 years old and I had to like beg my parents for an original Nintendo.
right. Of
That pretty
course.
much pretty much sets my age around, yeah. And before that, like there was nothing. It was like go play in the street and go ride your bikes around. And like obviously like I romanticize, like I'm a Luddite. I romanticize like, older eras before technology when people actually talk to each other and and stuff like that. But again, evolution, it is what it is. And yeah, it's amazing what we've seen in our lifetimes. It's like the technology, and now we're into who knows what happens in the next few years. Yeah.
You know what's funny though? I still view ChatGPT as in some ways very similar to the original NES.
Interesting.
Think about it, dude. Like if you
Like the start of like a new wave of who knows what.
no, I'm more cynical about it. Uh,
Ah,
I listen. You remember when would you play Mario, Duck Hunter, Zelda?
exactly.
Right. So you think, oh, I'm in this totally new universe, and you realize it's just like a little play on a cartridge, and it just talks to you, and it's the same script. It's the same thing with a Chat GPT. It's the same script. It's a total sycophant. It talks right back to you. Whatever
Hmm.
you. Oh my God. Yeah. Listen, whatever you spit into it, it spits right back. It just reformulates it. I mean, it's a tool. It's good, but it's still like the old NES.
Yeah, exactly. Just keeps getting more intense and crazier, but it's still just technology. Like, yeah.
It's I don't know. Is it contributing something new? Maybe in our thought process, but it's got again. We're not leaping. We're not doing quantum leaps where we're going somewhere different. Maybe we're getting to a point one day we'll do quantum leaps. God, can you imagine music with the aliens? You know the old time capsules. They sent out into space on Voyager or whatever that
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
It's like, listen, we're not getting.
Yeah, maybe on some planet somewhere, they're like, like the local musicians are playing Beatles songs, like because of one of those little capsules, like who knows?
That would be fun. I'd love, man. Right?
I know, right? So some giant
You.
following, on the other side of some universe of fans of like music from this planet. That
It's
you can
like that.
imagine all sorts of weird stuff. Yeah.
It's like that movie. That Beatles movie that came out a couple of years ago.
I don't think I've seen it yet, but
Jamie,
I
pull
know
that
what you
up.
mean.
Jamie, pull that up. Joe Rogan. You ever watch the Joe Rogan podcast?
Every once in a while,
Every time
bits and
Joe Rogan,
pieces. Yeah.
every time Joe Rogan doesn't know something, he always says, "Jamie, pull that up."
Oh, okay. I was like, who's Jamie? Who are you talking to?
No, that's fine.
Shows what I know. Yeah, yeah.
No, yeah. So I mean, yeah, there was that movie. What's it called? It was named after one of the Beatles songs. It wasn't Let It Be or something. But yeah, but it was well, the old Beatles where the Earth gets. Oh my! It was a good movie too. Where the Earth gets hit by like this meteor storm or something like that, and the guy and I guess he slept through the meteor storm, or he was like not there. He was immune to it somehow, and everybody, and for whatever reason, everybody forgot like what the Beatles were, and he was the only person who. Did you see that
Oh,
movie?
okay, I've seen that one. Yes, yeah the yeah the whole world, like no one knew what the Beatles were, and this guy knew all these Beatles songs, and yeah, he has like this the songwriting competition with Ed Sheeran or something. Is that the
Right.
one? Yeah, and he's like the biggest genius in the world because he just like pulls these Beatles songs out of his ass, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, did you just make
Yeah.
that?" Is yeah, that was hilarious.
And then the total spoiler, and then he goes and he meets John Lennon. Oh my god, I almost cried at that scene. That was amazing.
I don't even
It,
remember that part. It's been a while since I've seen it. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, anyway, but, yeah, it was a good movie. But that's kind of it. I think with the aliens and stuff, and they're listening, and it's like, oh yeah, the Beatles are such geniuses.
Who knows, right? Exactly.
Oh man. So anyway, I think we could kind of wrap this up soon.
Yeah, I
But
probably got to
here's
get rolling here in a sec here, but that was a pretty good round one. I think it's.
wasn't bad. Yeah, we could
Yeah,
pick up. We could do a round two. I guess it's sort of like closing statements. Sort of like yeah. I mean, yeah. Listen, man. I think the whole thing is like, well, what's next for you? We could talk more in depth about a lot of different things, but like, what's next for you in terms of like what you want to do with the traveling and the music, and like, where are you looking to go with this whole thing? A big
Hmm.
question.
Well, with the travel, like I just like exploring in general, but the idea of exploring, local styles of music and learning about them, like, taking lessons with teachers in different places, and like that really excites me. I haven't done much of it yet just because, people are on their own pace and I get distracted a lot. But that idea, you know, of exploring local styles of music in person, and then eventually, like maybe making videos about it, learning about it so other people can learn about it too.
Yeah,
So that's
that's
part of it. Like everyone has the things they're passionate about, so yeah, like music and food would be two big ones for me. So everywhere I go, I love exploring those two things, and everything else is just bonus points.
Phil. Put your plug in for your business, for your website, your YouTube channel. Where can people go find you and that sort of thing?
All right, cool. Well, if anybody's still kicking around in this podcast, yeah, um, my YouTube channel is Ultimate Inspiration Guitar Lessons. Just getting it started. I'm like on that verge of like being monetized, but not.
Okay.
You know, yeah. It's just an experiment, kind of sharing things and having fun building that. My business itself is called Calgary's Best Guitar Lessons, which is just my guitar teaching business. I've been doing it forever. You can find all that on the internet. And I have a travel YouTube channel too, but there's barely anything on it yet because I've just been too lazy and distracted to make content. The idea of making content is wonderful, but the process of actually doing it is a pain in the butt. And yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I
So
get that loud and clear. Yeah.
bit by bit, I'm building things. Last thing again, if anybody's still paying attention, I own the world's coolest guitar art store. I created it, and it's called Guitar Style Art or Guitar Style Designs. It's on Etsy. You know,
Nice.
yeah, like guitarstyleart.etsy.com. And again, I'm just building that up because it's fun. I like art. I like guitars, and
Hmm.
there it is. So
Very cool.
there's the
Thanks.
plug. Yeah.
Thanks, Phil. No, listen, and I'm going to try to put that also in the beginning as well. Maybe I'll make a little section in the beginning plugging you as well. I think that'd be good
Yeah,
too.
put both of our links there for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Phil, man, what a pleasure. It was so much fun chatting, and that was fun. It was great to kind of hear uh, what you're going through in different parts of the world, traveling, discovering music, and yeah, man, dude, it was fun. I appreciate it, bro. And we're gonna end the podcast here. I'm just gonna stop the recording, and hey, man,
Wonderful.
good chatting with you, brother. Good chatting with you.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. Just
All
again,
right, very
this is
cool.
the start, right? The very first one. So
Listen,
You
man,
know, later when we're on like episode 100, we'll be like, wow, how are we still here? This is awesome.
let's go. Let's make it happen. Okay. Well, thanks, Phill.
Very cool, man. Yep. We will be in touch soon.
Right on, brother.